Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel, here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, the HR Hotline. It's a wonderful day. I woke up early because I had the last day of my webinar with the Employers Confederation of the Philippines on succession planning. And I posted it in my social media that I have 5 presidents attending and around 8 senior HR attending. And they love it because I was so sincere and trained. And you know what makes me happy now? Look at this. Look at this family. I have 3 new puppies and they are well. Oh, what is it you're afraid? Yes. So, see, is exposure in the live stream. Okay, now I have actually near me around. Let me yes, uh, three of my favorite pets. They really insist that when they hear me starting my webinars, they actually knock and they would like to be with me. So I think at the end of the day, they are already masters on say business writing, on emotional intelligence and succession planning and acquisition because they are staying with me when I do the webinars. Now today is a very supposed to be a day when I should have a guest. But I called four of my friends to be our guests for today. But one is a little bit busy. The other one is there was not an emergency, but there was a chance for the doctor of her daughter, and then the other one is she cannot actually uh, share what she's doing because she has to ask permission from the organization, and the fourth one chicken out. So we change. We'll have the one with the guest on screen on Thursday. But today, it rather will be our episode on HR consultation. And it is a wonderful, wonderful topics that I actually prepared. So we have here Christine Joy uh, Duran. Hello. And then we have here Mr. Ryan Navarro of Davao is here. Yes. Then we have here si Ryan. And then let me see. Eric Castillo is watching. Eric, okay. Idol ko yan si Eric. Inggit match sa kanilang Nissan. Nissan. What is that? A car. Eric, can you post it? What is the car that inggit match ako sa inyo? Okay. Now, we have three concerns or problems to discuss today, which is it's a tribute to one of my friends, and it's actually a lot of people actually, uh, they're, what do you call this? It's part of their life and they're undergoing this. Oh, by the way, Gilbert is here also. Okay, thank you, Gilbert, for being here. Nice. I would like you to join us and then give your insights in the chat. Okay, so let me continue. I have three. One is, what are the possible reasons why valued? I would like to use the old pronunciation of the valued. Oh, diba? Valued employees leave organization. Then number two is, what makes an employee happy and appreciated? And then the last one will be, how can we really teach ethical leadership? Now let me start it this way. In associations that I know, in organizations that I know, in companies that I know, despite the pandemic, despite the opportunities, they live. They look for other jobs. I just came from a webinar and I'm a little bit sad because the assistant informed me that he's leaving. I will miss actually Marvin because he's so good. He's so good. He has that competency. And then also, I will miss, I will mention names, but I will not mention the organization. I will miss Neil. He's so good. He actually ghostwrites for me. But of course, these are young people. They all have the opportunities. You have to let it be, let it go. Whisper words of wisdom. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. So, But the question, why are they leaving? And these are valued employees. So who do? Okay, we have Jen and how do you pronounce it? Jen. Can you spell it? It's Jen. Angel seed. Angel seed ba? Okay, angel seed. Then I don't like this. I cannot really read who you are. Then we have Mr. Ryan. Si Ryan, may sinasabi si Ryan dito. Uh, I think they wanted to explore more challenges, like fulfilled na sila sa current organization nila. So looking for further advancement. Yun nga. And then we have here si, thank you for that. And then si Ophel. Hello from BGC. Yes, hello my friend. Hello my friend. I'm missing you. So I will start. Nag-research ako, what do you mean by valued employees? Valued employees, you really value them. They really contribute. They can be either hyper or hypos. They have all the potential. But in the definition, it was also mentioned that valued employees are actually people that they can realize and accept failures. Then from the failures, move on. So all of us in HR and in management must look at this. That people sometimes leave kasi kaya. There are people that they don't leave. Hindi kaya. Can you give me a minute? Can you give me a minute? Because makikuha ng papi. Makikuha ng papi. Sorry, this is live stream, but I am asking my helper to get the puppy that I got because he's being bullied by the auntie. Okay, I was talking about, again, going back to the valued employee. So all of us in HR must take note that there are people that they can decide and leave because they can really fathom, ang lalim ng English ko, appreciate, look into the things that's happening for them, accept the failure, talaga. Maybe the failure of doing the job, relationships, and then after that, proactive. They proactive is a decision. They leave. So I would like to know, that's the first one. Why do valued employees leave? And so we got one from Mr. Ryan. Again, can we spot on Mr. Ryan? MIB, sabi niya, I think they wanted to explore for more challenges. Kaya nga, kaya. And then that is actually a problem on retention. They fulfilled na siya sa current organization niya. So they're looking. So maybe mayroon siyang career pa. Okay. Then we have here from Ophel. Can we spot on Ophel? The one below. Direct? Yes. For many years, I have observed that people leave because of the managers around them. Yes. Diba? The people actually that are supposed to take care of them. The people actually that are supposed to lead them, handhold them, coach them, mentor them, counsel them, are not fulfilling what is expected from them. And then there is the valued employee who has that balanced outlook. So they decide to leave. Sayang. We have here, yes, from Ophel again. In some cases, valued employees leave if they do not see their future in the organization. Oh, that is true. That is true, Ophel. Consistency is not demonstrated by the managers in terms of recognizing their work. Valued employees seek a place where their contribution can be recognized more properly. true. I can recall that I did that in my journey. There is, I love the organization. I I contributed a lot of innovations, but there was a time that I was so much engaged with PMAP, and I was a little bit, what do you call that, uh, romantic on the role of PMAP. The function of uh, human resource was relegated. I left. I left. I left. So that is a decision. Cloyd here as an answer. Change in personal needs, goals that no longer align or achievable in the current organization. Hmm. Yes, maybe your needs cannot really be, yan pa yung, Erika, igikai. That's the Japanese, whatever, your reason for being. Am I pronouncing it properly? Igikai? Igikai. Yeah, igikai. It's a Japanese term for your passion, for your need, for your, what do you call this? Purpose, for your purpose. Maybe the change in personal needs no longer is aligned. That's why you leave. Ah, myself, I had six, seven companies after I again had a long engagement with inquirer. So you really move around and it's part of your journey. And then the problem is the valued employee has what you call not only the right, can feel that you can do it. And so that is the problem now on the end of management in HR. Because people, on the other hand, managers may have failed to recognize them as they would expect it. Yun na nga. So, it's ano eh, two sides of the coin. One is the valued employee knows who he is and he has that decision that I can look for other jobs and I can accept that I am not needed anymore. I cannot, I don't get the things that I want, so I'm looking for a greener pasture. And that is on the side of the manager or the employee. But what about the side of management? Because we are supposed to retain them. Because these are our critical people with critical roles, pivotal people with contributions, potentials, and hypers. The first problem is how can we detect that they are already contemplating to leave? Diba? The worst is if the manager is the last to know. But I would like to go back to what Ophel was telling us, that a lot are actually coming from the leaders. You do not know that your valued employees or your valued leader is actually contemplating of leaving because sabi nga ni Ryan at sabi nga ni Cloyd, it is not anymore fulfilling. So that is the question. O di ba ang lalim? Why do valued employees leave? So one, on the other end, it can be the proactivity, the decision that I can take it, then it's high time to look for other pastures. And in one is my needs are not being taken care of. But on the other hand, management is not aware. That is what Ophel is telling us. Management is not aware that you're actually not a mentor, but rather a tormentor. Can we spot on Ophel? In some cases, to bullying from their direct managers and other. Right, you know, Ophel, I like your sincerity, your your integrity, your authenticity, yung lahat. Ophel can don't mince words talaga. Yes. And then si Ryan din, may sinabi rin dito. Yes. On the other hand, managers may have failed to recognize them as they would expect it, and where can we go to Cloyd again? Change in personal needs that no longer align. So yes, often. In some cases, not even bullying. It can be a question on integrity, a question on viewpoints, a question on what the valued employee believes. Usually, ang valued employees are actually yung parang in that mindset that they would like to do what is actually proper. Hindi naman righteous. And then siguro they are in a situation wherein the bosses are actually hindi naman malevolence, hindi naman. Pero siguro just a disagreement on directions and on practices. Yes. So nagkakaproblema ngayon. Tama nga si Ophel. So that is a concern. Valued, dapat retain. And usually marketable. Nasa LinkedIn yan. We have to be aware. Pero nga, umalis. Ang dami kong kilala. Right now, I can name six. Ang iba, estudyante ko. At pandemic ka. Pandemic. And then it's not the place. Hindi. So all of us should be we should be aware of this. Na I think yung what really triggers that decision. Di ba ang hirap maghanap ng valued employees? Yung competent, nandiyan yung attitude, skills, and knowledge. Ang hirap kaya. Then the next question is, you got it, it's a little bit expensive, you were able to get a gem, the people that I know that are living are really gems, then they are not really retained. Hindi mo malaman kung is it engagement, too much or less engagement. Hindi mo malaman if it is the extrinsic, is it actually salary po rin hindi. Kasi usually ang valued employees, they know their worth and they can understand if the organization is not paying them well. Pero maybe that can be one. But I always think that sometimes if your reward system or your compensation is not really parang the top of the line, you can actually retain people by other means. Diba? But that area, we have to look into that also. Because we are in a pandemic and people are actually a little bit, it's a hard time. Then you have to look into your compensation plans, your incentive plans. Because usually, valued employees, they know their values, they know their worth, and they know the remuneration of what they contribute. Maybe they are not really being remunerated well. Yung talent fee. How do you value them? Sabihin mo you have to understand because it is hard times. Yes. But you have to look into, this is a little bit HR. You're pay for person, pay for position, and pay for performance. Maybe don't change their pay for position. That is your salary plan. But you can do something about their pay for performance. If they're still very much contributing now that we are in the pandemic, try to recognize them. And then the last one might be, can I have some insights? help me, Lloyd, help me, Ophel. Nauubusan ako ng sabihin. And maybe the third one is yung purpose na. Yung purpose. And it should be, maybe may kasalanan din yung valued employee na she was not very transparent and telling the bosses that this is our aspirations, or maybe nagkulang talaga yung bosses that she can, na-miss niya na. So I think ang ano dyan is actually try a continue conversation, a conversation on the aspirations or career path of the valued employee. You see, why are they leaving? That is a question. We have to ponder on that. Those people engaged in companies, in organizations, is it me that is at fault? Maybe. Maybe. Because at the end of the day, one of HR's, what do you call this, purpose is to acquire talent and retain them. Retain them. So it's not just about compensation, sabi ni Cloyd. Cloyd is a friend of mine. I'm doing webinars for them. We need to look at the holistically to address reasons for exploring. You know, Cloyd, we have to talk about this kasi na-engage naman tayong dalawa. Yeah. Kasi ang pinakamahirap, yung retention. Yung why do they leave is actually the surface. That's not actually the problem. The operative problem actually is the retention. And the retention may be, yun na nga, sabi ni Ophel, nag-bully siguro, nag-shaming siguro. I have one word. I would like to know your insights on this. Respect. Diba? Doon yung nag-umpisa. Yung respect, civility. Diba kasi these are valued employees. Kaya nga mahal. Or sometimes hindi nga talaga appreciated. Ay, ang hirap kaya mag-anak. Ay, ano mo, if you are in HR, if you are a leader, it's not nice to mention na, ay, ang dami dyan naghahanap na trabaho. Ang dali-dali mag-anak. No, that means you are not a good leader. Kasi you have to look at the fit and the mats. Not the fit, fit, F-A-T. And the mats of the person in your organization. Yes, sabi rito ni Cloyd. Cecil Munoz, nandiyan ka na. Join ka rito. Dapat ikaw yung aking ano rito. Yes. Especially nowadays, it's not just having a job. People are already weighing on their well-being. Right? Right? Stressful kaya itong mga online. And then there are a lot of stressors for some working from home. Also, that should be a consideration. Also, thank Cloyd for that. Thank you. Cloyd is a manager of TransUnion. Yeah, HR manager of TransUnion. Yeah. So that simple question, why are valued employees leave? We should stop, be still, ponder, magmuni-muni. Is it the problem of the person because he is marketable and he knows, she knows that he can take it? Alam mo, dapat yung pinag-uusapan namin ni February, yung sa talent management. Pardon kasi this is a little bit controversial. Tingnan mo, discover mo yung kanyang growing up. Diba? There are, say, men, women, not in their lives, they decided that they can be solo parents. O tingnan mo, kung ganon, meron na siyang personality that they can be on their own. So, the manager or the HR must be able to look into that this person must be taken care of because she's good, but she's beyond being good. because she's empowered and she can be a person na hindi mo pwede mabully. Sabi nga, hindi mo pwede ma-shaming. Yes. At nandito may sinasabi si Mr. Gilbert. Gilbert is a friend of mine for the longest time. At ang talino niya na nag-graduate pa lang yan ng postgraduate. All of this can be managed well when culture sits as the core of the business. Right? Right. Where people practices are valued well. So, what Gilbert here is telling us, the problem, the root may be in the culture of the organization. Sayang. Kasi sa talent management, acquisition, importante. It's expensive kaya. Si Gilbert nasa acquisition yan eh. Expensive. Tapos pinasok mo yung tao, naku, yung kultura, hindi naman tama. Right, Gilbert? Ang lalim. Then can we have Cloyd again? Yes, we need to step back, revisit our retention strategy, and consider the new normal as part of our overall employee experience strategy. Ang lalim mo, Cloyd, idol kita. We need to step back and review. At this time, all of us, this will be shared, all the HR, ang sinasabi rito ni Cloyd, and consider the new normal as part of our employee experience. Dapat, yung mga bosses, yung HR must be able to determine already, discern, assess, what is the effect of the stresses of this pandemic to that valued employee. Tapos, na-mitigate ka agad, nasagot ka agad. Yung parang, you just let them go? Ay nako. As I told you earlier, I'm sad. Kasi these are the people that are really work with me, and I know they are, yeah. In another organization, long ago, pre-COVID, mayroon din. Yung talagang, these are valued employees. And they leave, young and they leave. And at kung sabihin mo, it's not the work. The work is not the issue. And sometimes nga, tama si Cloyd, the monetary is not the issue. At tamang-tama si Gilbert, it is the culture that is the issue. At tamang-tama talaga ay si Ophel. Sometimes there is an incident that they felt actually aggrieved. Hindi lang yan nagsasabi. Wow, Cecil, tingnan ko. My friend Cecil. Cecil, inggit matsa ko sa mga halaman mo. Ha? People leave the organization not just because of the lack of career movement, compensation, concerns, but their values are no longer aligned. Hi, Cecil, ang talino mo talaga. Mag-guest ka na rito. But their values are no longer aligned. Alam mo, Cecil, actually, this question, attribute to a friend of mine who is living, ito po yung sagot. The values are no longer aligned with that of the company. Change in management bring a new set of styles, norms, and beliefs. Spot on ka, Cecil. There are also instances where employees seek to build relationships, and when relationship with superiors fails, it can be demoralizing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep this comment by Cecil, and this is the answer to the question. The answer of Gilbert Kamazura on culture, and the answer of Cecil Munoz on this. They are no longer aligned. So, let me continue. The problem now is on management to be able to fill it. And there is a post from Gilbert. Can you spot it on direct? Personal values must be aligned at the start of the engagement so that there are no disconnect between individual values and corporate culture. Alam na alam ito ni Gilbert because she has been with the executive searching for executives for companies. Alam na alam ni Gilbert. And he knows that. So yun. So that question, why they leave, maybe it's in the culture, and maybe they are not aligned. And then I give the burden to the HR, and to the leaders themselves, to the CEO, to the president, that they must be able to have that, what to call that? Can you help me? Yung feel, yung dapat yung di ba sa acquisition, the clinical eyes, the nose for people that are really have potential. But this time, what is this? That sense, a sense. Yung talagang sinatawag natin na listening skills, which is not actually listening. You have that sense of listening that you feel that your valued employees is actually, kasi hindi naman yan, abrupt, na parang may nangyari, alis. Ano yan eh? I know it's a process. There is a time frame for that. Can you spot on another post from Gilbert? Thank you. Of course, my friend Gilbert, it would be nice. I don't want to mention it kasi baka magkamali ako. Can you post your company so that they may, if for those people who can afford who may seek your service, you can. Alam mo, pero nag-give away si Gilbert ngayon. They're more on some technology and applications, but still I know Gilbert is on executive service. Kaya that's why what he's giving us, what he's sharing is actually spot on. Tama. Di ba ako? Iba na spot on. Tama. Yeah. So, yung why do they live? The answer is actually on the culture and actually on tuturuan ninyo ako mag-pronounce yung Japanese, which is actually the purpose, and then that one of sinabi ni Cecil. Sinabi ni Cecil. Tama po yun. So the burden is actually on the bosses. Dapat na sense mo yun. Para bang mag-asawa, chismis talaga ang tsura ko, no? Lumaki yung mata. Para sa mag-asawa, diba? Pero you're the last to know that the other guy or the other, that your significant other is actually leaving you. Dapat on the onset, alam mo. So that you can still put some remedies. Diba? Nang umalis, yun ang sinasabi ko, it's so sad. But I'm ako rin, valued din ako. If it is actually for the good of the employee, then, kasi ako rin, I went around. Si Gilbert, alam ko, umikot din yan. Si Ophel, alam ko, from one good organization. Pero ang maganda sa amin, ni Ophel, di ba Ophel and Gilbert, hindi kami there was no bad, we can still go back to the organizations where we left. Okay, so ang ganda po. Ang ganda nitong discussion natin. So we'll have a break, and when we come back, just a small, around 10 minutes. So what makes employee happy? What makes employee happy? So kasi that will be the answer of how we can retain them. So direct, and we have the break, and then when we come back, let's discuss how can we make our employees happy. have the poster wherein we are supposed to invite them to watch the TNC shows. What we have here are the various TNC shows, and I invite you to visit the new channel, and then you can watch it from Mondays to Sundays. We have wonderful, wonderful shows, and you can watch it in your gadgets. Thank you, Direct. Let's go back to our guest. Okay, so let us converse on the next. What are the things that will make our employees happy? Most especially our valued employees. Okay, can we have comments from our guests? I mentioned earlier it's respect. Yes, one for me, it's I think respect. Respecting who they are. Say even if they are LGBTQ, that's one. Respect, respecting if they are old or young, if they are female or male, the differences in geographies. Leaders should ensure that we appreciate our people consistently in our own little way, which makes them happy. Sadly, this gesture of appreciation somehow fails because of a leader's day-to-day state of business. I, for one, is guilty for this. Thank you, Ryan Navarro. Yes, sometimes, but mea culpa, when I was young, yes, but you know that I'm getting old, I'm a little as age as wine. Even when I deal with my helpers, when I deal with my assistants, it's already different. Yes, the little appreciation, the mere fact, it's their engagement. The mere fact that they are there to be with you. That is actually the problem now, even in our families. Your husband, you have to appreciate them. Your wife, your children, appreciate if they serve you in both ways. I think that is one that is actually missing. Sometimes you do something, and then it's not. You can see the negative things, and what is bad is how you deliver it. There can be something that is of ethical ano, question, a question on ethics. That the person is trying to swallow or to accept, then the way you deliver it, sometimes it's actually that breaks the camel's hair, because you don't appreciate that the other person is already considering the situation. Oh, yan sa mga mag-asawa ha, sa mga tao. Malalim po yun ha. Nung nag-concede siya, nag-concede, pinabayaan ka. I don't want to use the word, nag-tolerate. Being there, not speaking, just tolerating who you are, it has to be appreciated. May oras ganun. Most especially if what you're doing is not acceptable. May ethical questions. So yun. So we have here from Ophel, from global studies, companies who prioritize training and developing their managers and supervisors have higher retention and engagement scores. Yes, employees are happier and more fulfilled because they work with managers, supervisors whom they trust and listen to them. We can easily tell if managers are effective. We simply administer a survey of managers' leaders' effectiveness. We can then target to support those whose scores fall below the acceptable range. Thank you, Ophel, for this. Actually, dapat ang focus natin is not on the employees but on the managers. If they are coaching, if they are mentoring, and their leadership competencies. At yung first part ng post ni Ophel, it's actually on training and development. Pero ang mahirap naman, Ophel, you keep on training people, reskill them, upgrade them, tapos nga yung leaders are not actually as sensitive and not actually para bang, what do you call this, appreciating yung development. Diba? Yung may mga silos, nag-hoard ng tao. That is actually the problem. Then we can go, oh, Ma'am Grace, you're here. Oh, Ma'am Grace, nandito po si si Sir Gilbert. First is to put the right leaders in place. Right. Yun na nga, yun ang problema doon. Doon sa little things to appreciate. Ethical leadership is, nasa ethical leadership na tayo, ha? Ethical leadership is taught by examples. People leave when they don't get valued for their principles. Also, no meritocracy in place. Di ba? Sa performance management ito at sa profiling. Yung merit eh. Di ba? And then, bosses that are incompetent and direct report is much better. Oh, sampal po to. And this is the truth. Actually, yun yung nga sinasabi ko kay Ophel. You keep on training our people, upgrading and upskilling them. They're so good. Would you believe that I do emotional intelligence webinars and I do wave. I do mga yung transformation. But the ones that attending are the rank and file and the middle managers. Seldom nag-a-attend dyan ang mga executives or the leaders. Or when they attend, they are not really. So actually, it's the interest for them to know that. Na hindi nila alam na may oras, nag-grow na yung valued employees, yung naiwan na leaders are actually not catching up with the growth. Pero I like your comment of fell on that one of bullying, and I like your comment on that. So we have here Jerry Plana. My God, we have a nice company here. Building in intrinsic motivation, purpose, mastery, and autonomy into one's job is the source of lasting fulfillment and happiness. Can allow me to repeat. Building in intrinsic motivation. And what are the intrinsic? The purpose, the mastery, and autonomy. Pero Jerry, dapat ang masabihan nito are the leaders. Sometimes, sinasabi it's a burden of HR. No, not anymore. It's actually the leaders, the managers and the senior managers, or the CEO into one's job is the source of lasting fulfillment and happiness. So, totoo nga, we can spot on a valued person with potential and a performer, and then of course we develop them, but actually the one that should have this, the ownership of this, building the intrinsic motivation, nakikita ko should be on the leaders. On the leaders. So the little things, sabi ko little things, lumalim. The intrinsic motivation, their purpose. So how can they do it? Jerry, tell us how can they do it. Jerry, I would like to attend your webinar, pero mayroon kasabay yung paano kaya. You just share it to me. Yung certified consultancy. Okay. Then we have here Ophel, yung classmate mo, Jerry. That's why everything starts from the top. Oo nga. Oo nga. Actually, di ba yung OD, sabi ni Dean Rose, it's the leaders. Oo. Kasi, yung how to retain it galing doon sa taas. At kawawa ng HR. Naghahanap yan. So we have here Cecil. Cecil, nandito si Jerry. Consistent employee experience at all touch points. Oh yeah, I love that. That is very updated. Consistent employee experience at all touch points. From hire to retire, lead to strong employee engagement. Critical points as those in between, professional career development opportunities, leadership access to information, and venue to be heard, recognition, and empowerment. Right. Ay, nako, this will be shared for all the HR. Try to read and reread the posts of our seasoned guests. Yung alam mo, importante sinabi ni Cecil, yung venue to be heard and empowerment. Valued yung employee mo, binigyan mo sila ng critical role. Kasi nga valued to a critical position. Tapos hindi mo in-empower at hindi mo ni-hear. Yun. And that is actually the problem. Kasi I'm going back to the first issue. Sayang. You spend a lot looking for people and then you cannot retain them because ito nga yung problema. Leaders, culture, Sayang. Ay, ang galing ng mga sinasabi. Si Gilbert, si PPD. Then we can have, Cloyd? Can we have Cloyd here? Yes, retention and attrition is a business matter, not just HR. Right, Cloyd. May oras sinasabi HR, no? That is just the metrics in HR. Oo, tanong natin si Jerry. Jerry is here. Uh, Investors in people. Tingnan natin yung kanyang, hindi yung HR lang, it's not a concern. Yung how to retain. Kasi, yung HR, napakabait na kinukuha ng, Diyos ko, naghanap ka ng taga-UP. Para mayroon akong HR friend, naghanap siya ng chemist na taga-UP. Pagdating doon, hindi naman ginagamit. Umalis na yung taga-UP. Sabi niya, ako tinuruan sa UP na ako, ang ginawa, pinapagtimpla lang. So, sayang. Sabi niya, sayang Nahirapan ako maghanap na. I was able to convince that person to accept the salary that we have. And then, it's the work and then it's, sayang. And then it's actually in the leadership. In the leadership. And in the culture. So, alam mo, hindi natin natasagot. No, natasagot. Hindi little things ang dinidiscuss natin. Ang tinatanong ko, what are the little things that we have to do to make them happy? Ang lalim kaya. Intrinsic motivation, their purpose, ang lalim kaya. Di ba? Ang lalim kaya. Okay. So, let's go to the third one. And I want to have Jerry, Ophel, Grace, and Cloyd, and then everybody to help me. The third one is, how can we teach ethical leadership? Kasi nakita ko yun na ang problema nga is on the leadership. Sige, sasabihin na naman ni Femery if she's here, that cannot be taught. That is called. Pero let us try to help those. How can we really say, come up with a program wherein yung ethical leadership can be taught to our leaders. Paano kaya? Jerry, help me here. Okay. Nandito may post si Cecil Munoz. HR plays a key role in aligning business and people strategies and programs to make sure all systems have the same focus on the most important resource. This is the employees. On the other hand, employees' access to what is going on in the organization is important, especially in times like this. Line managers need to strengthen their HR roles to keep people engaged. Wow. Naku, kaya talaga yung PAL, Diyos ko, they will miss you, Cecil. It's a critical role. Pero Cecil, ang mahirap ngayon, kasi nauuso yung HRBP. Yung parang HR business partner. Parang mas gusto ko nito na hindi yung HR business partner ang gumagawa. Dapat yung leaders mismo mas already, di ba, permeate, di ba, yung focus on the most, dapat they are also must be doing kaya tama yung PMAP, people managers. Employees access to what is going on with the organization. Para bang from acquisition to succession planning to performance management, it's not only HR who must be doing it, the nitty-gritty, the computation, but the one who is going to implement it is actually everybody, the leaders. The leaders. And these are the ways. But let's go back to that question. How can we now teach them? Kasi ethical, ang problema dito is actually on the leaders. So let's go to Cloyd. Cloyd, salamat. Leadership level 5. Oh, alam ko rin yung Cloyd. Pwede natin pag-usapan yan. There should be a shift in paradigm and see leadership as a service. Right? Yung level 5 po, yung doon yung sa, huwag tayo magturo-turo, nandiyan si Jerry at si Ophel at si Gilbert, baka sabihin ba? yung 5 levels of leadership, di ba? Yung servant leadership. Sinabi ko na. Pero, meron din 5 sa transformational. May 5 din si kaya hindi ko marunong kung sa anong gigamitin na. Pero may 7 si blame. kay Maxwell 21, di ba? Yung sa leadership. Pero marami yung 5 eh. 5 levels of leadership. Pero you're correct, Lloyd. Di ba? Yung isang way of pagturo noong ethical leadership is actually yung servant leadership. Yung levels of leadership. But you know, Lloyd, it's so easier said than done. Kasi usually, kasi di ba nag-train tayo, you keep on telling them about theories, of case studies, of business cases. I don't know if it's actually, alam mo, namimiss ko si Femery. Femery, kung nandiyan kayo, tell us something about it. It's actually starting from the time that nadi-discover ng tao. Then we have here, yes, nice to see you. Yes, Mr. Roque. Yes. Okay. So, yun nga eh. Right. Ang pinakamahirap, yung ethics dito is, maraming aspects yun ha. Yung ethos, logos, and pathos. Turo. Pero yung ethics here, there are some actually, what do you call this, practices or policies that might be the valued employees may not really be, it is not aligned to her conviction, faith. Lalim ng English ko. Diba? Hindi aligned sa kanyang belief. Kaya umaalis siya. So that is really sad. So we have Ophel. Thank you, Ophel, for the post. Hindi ka pa nababasa. Can you spot an Ophel? Okay. Yeah, of course. Si Ellie Roque. Ophel. Ethical leadership is deeper than what we can train. Right, Ophel. That's why alam mo, can we have you and Jerry and one another? Let's discuss this. Siguro next time kayong tatlo. Kasi I am really so keen on this. This is embedded in every leadership upbringing. We could have the best training on ethical leadership, but it's the learners who decide to be open to learning and who can decide to apply the key learnings. Una, Ophel. Alam mo, pardon. Di ba ang dami natin na nasa politics, especially din mga dyan sa, wag na yung nasa national, yung nasa LGU. Pardon, ang dami rin sa government. Naturuan naman niya ng ethical leadership eh. Bakit pagdating ng oras, it's sad to say, they are not actually practicing it. This brings me back, which is why we need CSB. Di ba there is an episode na nag-discuss tayo ng what they do with sa Career Executive Board. So let's go to Jerry Plana. Jerry Plana, yes, culture values building can help promote ethical behavior. So balik tayo just like with Gilbert, culture talaga. The case of Wells Fargo is a classic case of a company that has lost its way. That is why it got into serious trouble and the culture was weak to prevent it from happening. Wells Fargo is a case of an organization that prioritized profits over purpose. Right. So my business case, si Jerry. Yun. Alam ko, kasi that is actually taken in MBA, in sa Wells Fargo. Right. So, kung you are all about your marketing, your finance, your nakalimutan yung people concerns. So, yung culture, yun yung papasok dito yung may little knowledge and culture. Diyos ko, dapat si Jerry nagtuturo. Yung advocacy, yung clan, yung market culture. Dapat HR people should know this. Kasi that is the direction. No, there is, walang tama o magmali. Pero yung sinasabi ni Gilbert at sinasabi na we can only be able to teach ethical if you have the culture. Mag-uumpisa ka dun sa culture building. So, ma-identify mo muna kung anong culture mo. Yes. Okay. So, we go to, yes, you were the speaker at Dolly. Remember? Ang galing-galing mo talaga. Thank you, Eli Roque. Then we have Chong, si Ryan. From Davao si Ryan ha, my understanding to ethical leadership is to inculcate, oy, ang lalim ng English ng aking brother, inculcate talaga, to inculcate to our people the virtue of gratitude. Correct. Whether appreciated, valued, or not. The most important thing is to have integrity in everything that an employee does, whether to be recognized, unrecognized by their leaders. Now, Ryan is talking about on the slant of the employees. Yes. Pero doon sa understanding sa leadership, inculcated to our people that the virtue of gratitude. Doon yan sa leaders. Dapat magpasalamat ang leader na mayroon pang siyang tao na sumusunod sa kanya. So he has to be ethical. Binaba ko yung aking tubig. Diba? Pasalamat ka muna. Gratitude first is the position. Two, that you are still, people still believe in you. There are people following you. Right, Ryan? Pasalamat ka muna. And third, there are people that are still believes in you. So you have to be ethical. Yan ang dapat una. You have to be ethical kasi may taong sumusunod sa iyo. Yan yung biblical na you don't give a scorpion to your child. So, you're the leader. There are people, you have to be, may nagsumusunod pa siya. Pasalamat ka. And then, in that, yung gratitude, huwag kang gagawa ng mali. Kasi, taliwas yan dun sa gratitude. Tama si Brian. Then we have Cloyd. Yes, Cloyd. Yes, HR may take steps and start partnering with leaders and start regular conversations about how the organization's culture is being shaped by what our leaders tolerate and reinforce. Right, Cloyd. Pero ang mahirap, we don't have time now for this, So we really have to call the asynchronous, or maybe in the synchronous way, conversations. You know, I've taken this with DDI. Alam ito ni Jerry, yung interactive management. Alam mo ang conversation that has to be learned. That there should be a trainer's training on conversation. Narinig ko rin yung kay Jerry. Sa mentoring. Yung asking questions and telling things. Leaders can start regular conversations about how the organization's culture is being shaped. So dapat magkagaling sa HR, talagang titingnan mo kung where is your direction. There are two ways in doing that. Are you just going to wait that the culture is shaping and then accept it? Or you really have to develop it and come up with interventions. Okay, we have here from Cecil Munoz. Cecil, my friend from PAL. Can we really teach and acquire ethical leadership? I personally thought that it's ingrained in one's character and can't be compromised in any given situation. That's true. Ang mahirap kasi, siguro, sinabi mo, Cecil, character building. Siguro dun tayo sa character building. Ang dami po niyan, alam mo itong pandemic, nag-surface yan. Nag-surface kung sino yung mga questionable leadership practices. At nagkulang siguro doon sa character building. Character building. Yung katarayan ngayon, lumalabas. And then yung iba, they insist on things that are not actually acceptable. Yung face-to-face, hindi nakikita eh. Hindi nakikita. Nung nakikita. Kasi, siyempre, sasabihin mo eh. Namamouth. And then sometimes, it is actually masakit sa tenga ng valued employees. Kasi yung valued employees nga, balance yung utak niya eh. Discerning. Ang maganda, yung leader, yung valued. Okay. Then we have here Teresa De Jesus. You are watching from Carmona. I hope you are learning from us. So we started on why valued leadership leave. Then we went into what are the little things that we can do to let people or our subordinates, our direct reports happy. And now we are talking about ethical leadership because actually that is the cause of why people leave. Hindi yung transformational leadership, hindi. Hindi rin yung maraming kinds of leadership. Ay, meron yung step back leadership. That's another concept. Yung quantum leadership, that is, I learned that from Saidi. This one is actually yung ethical leadership. Diba? And right, si Cloyd, yung sinabi niya, maybe yung sinabi nagsabi, yes, si Cloyd, yung the 5 levels of leadership and spot on si Cecil. Yung talaga yung character building. Ang mahirap nito, Cecil, kasi we are going to teach character building to executives. Ang hirap kaya. Nako, okay, what is Ellie telling you? Can you apply for the Japanese? I mean, can you spot on Ellie? Can we apply the Japanese? Harikiri. Pwede siguro. Ano yun yung Japanese, yung ijikai. Yon, yung purpose. Yes. Ang hirap nito in government, in the private sector. Sa private sector nagsa-surface yan. At ang manifestation, yung tinatawag natin na nakikita, people leave. At kung tanungin mo talaga, tama si Ophel. Tanungin mo, hindi yung money, hindi yung work. At makikita mo, yun nga, hindi na align yung purpose. It's the culture. So it's nice. It's nice that we are discussing this and this can be of help to all those that will be watching this. Na they have to be aware of this because these are the answers. If you look at it for the third time that we have this consultation episode, the answers to the questions are aligned but far. Hindi mababaw. Hindi mababaw. So thank you, my friends, for joining us and then sharing your insights. Huwag po magsawa. We'll have one again on Thursday. Then our light moments on Saturday. Then again. Siguro mag-change tayo. We can have Tuesdays on this kasi everybody is up and about. Nakikita ko almost all of you are here. Yeah. And it's nice. It's a nice feeling. I miss you, Jerry. I miss you, Ophel. And I miss you, Ryan. And it's nice that we are sharing this to the community. Very, what do you call this, tricky questions. And the answers actually are things that we need. Teresa de Jesus, yes, si Tess, ang sinabi niya, respect others. One of the most important traits of ethical leadership is respect that is given to followers. You are right, Teresa. But ang problema natin, Teresa, is how to teach people to respect. Actually, civility yan. Yes, it's civility. Di ba yung kay, there is what you call the 25 rules on civility? Ang mahirap kung paano. Cecil and Jerry, paano kaya mag-come up ng training? Ophel. Si Ophel, ano yan, learning and development master yan eh. How can we do a training program that we can teach, di ba? Questions, are there tools that we can use to baseline business leaders' level of ethical leadership and present to our leaders? Yun na nga, yun ang sinasabi ko. Hoy, nakakatakot na, Cloyd, pareho na ang level ng thinking natin. Yun din ang sinasabi ko, Cloyd eh. Siguro Jerry can answer. Kasi I know sa investors in people, mayroon yan eh. Yeah, this is a concern. Kaya i-invite ko talaga. Kasi invite ko si Ophel, si Jerry, si Cecil, and Cloyd, kasama ka dyan. Kasi tingnan natin talaga kung paano natin maituro yan. Maituro yan. Tama si Tess de Jesus. Tama. Respect. Pero how will you teach respect? Sasabihin na naman ni Femery, it's not taught, it's caught. Pero hindi nga eh. Ang mahirap niyan kasi we have programs for that sa rank and file. Iba yung wave. Iba yung emotional intelligence ko. Maroon. Pero dito sa leadership development, paano kaya ituro yan? Sometimes, nagsa-surface na ngayon. Nagsa-surface na. Diba? Hi, yan ang aking request sa ating mga Ma'am Cecil, Ma'am Ophel, and Sir Jerry. Ano kaya mag-come up tayo niyan? And then that can be our ano, our share to the HR profession, di ba? Kasi nakikita ko yun. Simple questions at answer. So ladies and gentlemen, medyo nag-ano na sa akin yung ating director. We are over time. Thank you very much. And let me conclude, ganun po yun. One is, sayang. Acquisition is very difficult. That is one job of HR. Now you really have to be, what they call it, seasoned. You have the eye, the clinical eye, that what you're getting is competent. So you use the competency-based interviews and recruitment. And then select and then place and onboard. Ay, si Ophel, ang daming onboarding experiences yan. Pero, pagdating ng nakuha mo, hindi pa nga tenured. Ang tenure is 3 years. Nakuha ko yan kay Jerry, ha? Jerry told me na ang tenure is not 6 months, it's 3 years. Hindi pa tenured, umalis na. Ano yung problema? So we go to what are the little things that we need to do? Na-discuss natin yun. Pero if you zero in, it's actually on the leader. And it's not HR. HR yung kumuha kaya. HR pa yung nag-initiate, nag-train. Binigay mo dun sa leader. And that's ang problema naman sa leader. Maybe they are doing what you call transformation, maraming mga concept. But you can zero in on their ethical leadership. Now, the next question. How are we going to impart ethical leadership to the leaders? So that is where we end. Ay, ang ganda-ganda ng ating usapan for a Tuesday afternoon. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Diyos mabalos po. Ito po si Jessie Francis Rebustillo.